We're gathered here today to mourn the loss of a new single-player Titanfall game. This game died before it was ever given a chance to live. May it rest in peace. Gamers have been waiting for a brand new Titanfall campaign for so long, but it seems as though the universe is reluctant to give us that. Titanfall 2, you may recall, the last entry in the series, was released to critical acclaim across both critics and users alike across numerous platforms, but the game underperformed commercially because EA released the game at such an awful time slot, sandwiched right between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and ever since EA set the game up for failure, they've been reluctant to greenlight a brand new Titanfall entry, a new Titanfall campaign. But for some time, there was hope that we might see a new Titanfall campaign in the not-so-distant future, but those prospects have been made less likely by this report from news outlet Bloomberg, whose headline reads, Electronic Arts cancels secret Apex Legends game in development. Now, I know the headline says Apex Legends, but this game was very much intended to have Titanfall elements in there. It was very much going to be a fusion of Apex Legends and Titanfall, which makes sense given that the two games take place in the same universe. So it is detailed scrolling down here that Electronic Arts has canceled the game based on the popular Apex Legends and Titanfall franchises, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. This is a game that hadn't been publicly announced. It was in production at EA developer Respawn Entertainment, who are the creators of the Titanfall series, who created Apex Legends, which proved to be super successful, and also they created Jedi Fallen Order and are in the process of making Jedi Survivor. When it comes to EA development studios, they're definitely one of the good ones. This was all information relayed back in Tuesday, January 31st, 2023, and on that day, EA gave a disappointing outlook for revenue in the current quarter, and it's not just the single-player Apex Legends Titanfall game that was canceled. They also axed 2 mobile games that have already been released, Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile, which kind of comes as a shock to me. I thought EA wanted to double down on mobile gaming and the monetization possibilities there, but maybe Apex Legends and Battlefield Mobile just weren't performing to EA standards or to their expectations. I'm not entirely sure why these 2 games were canceled. Seems a little out of character for EA, but that's kind of what happened, and it seemed as though it's in part to do with disappointing outlook for revenue in the current quarter, which is not helped by the fact that the economy in general is in a lull right now. We are definitely going into a recession. A lot of tech companies have been affected, and no doubt in the gaming sector, certain companies might have been affected as well, especially if they haven't had a consistent release of high-quality games. But yeah, alongside all that, EA also delayed Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Respawn put out a statement saying, we need to polish this game up. We need a couple more weeks to finish this game, and fortunately, EA granted that request. But that also means that EA isn't able to reap the profits from Jedi Survivor until later than they initially planned, so that might have negatively impacted aspects of their business operations. But yeah, going back to this canceled single-player Apex Legends / Titanfall game, this unnamed games team was about 50 people strong, and now that the game has been canceled, EA is going to try to find positions for them, but those who just can't be placed anywhere else within EA will be given severance packages and laid off, which is unfortunate. As for details about the game itself, it was codenamed TFL or Titanfall Legends, which straight up is a combination of Titanfall and Apex Legends, which further goes to highlight the hybrid nature of this project that was going to have elements of both IPs, though they again take place in the same universe, so it makes sense. It was supposed to be a single-player game set in the universe shared by the Apex Legends and Titanfall games. It was directed by veteran designer Mohamed Alavi until he left the company in early 2022. Now, at that time, we didn't know this project was even in development or what Mohamed Alavi was working on. You might recall that back in July of 2021, Mohamed Alavi tweeted that he was developing a brand new single-player adventure from Respawn Entertainment, where a small but ambitious team with a history of dreaming big and making splashes come work with us. This was essentially a job listing for a brand new project that Alavi was set to direct. Now we know that this announcement was referring to this Apex Legends Titanfall sort of crossover single-player campaign. Now, while he left Respawn in early 2022, development on the project seemingly continued, and it wasn't until January 31st, Tuesday, that EA relayed internally that the project had been canceled, is what I understand from this story. Bloomberg also also makes it a point to highlight that while the game hadn't been advertised or announced, EA had hinted at it several times. Indeed, I myself remember EA saying a number of times that they haven't closed the door on Titanfall, that stuff may happen down the line, giving people hope that one day we'll see a brand new campaign for the Titanfall series. Now, if you want more information about what this game was supposed to be prior to its cancellation, here's a Video Games Chronicle article titled, "The Titanfall game canceled this week was reportedly a campaign in Apex Legends." This is information that the news outlet obtained from Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who shared a bunch of information about this project from a live stream that he recently did. And while the game's identity was heavily going to be tied to Apex Legends, the project was meant to be Titanfall feeling. It was going to involve the classic Titanfall gameplay with mechs, but with the added layer of players teaming up with Apex characters. Here's some of the stuff that Jeff Grubb said verbatim, transcribed by Video Games Chronicle. Titanfall Legends was not Titanfall 3 because in a lot of people's minds, I think Titanfall 3 was going to be a new standalone game with a single-player campaign and a multiplayer, and they could just never do that again. EA could never do that again after Apex Legends changed the calculus on all those things. In 2 weeks from now, Apex Legends is going to get Team Deathmatch, and that was always part of a plan to turn Apex Legends into this platform where they could get all kinds of different shooter experiences from an expanded Apex Legends / Titanfall world. Though I would argue that Apex Legends getting Team Deathmatch is nowhere near the same as playing Titanfall multiplayer, because the mech aspect was at the core of Titanfall, and that's an aspect that's just not very present in Apex Legends. I don't think that expanding Apex Legends modes is going to get us closer to what Titanfall multiplayer felt like, but at the very least, there was a plan to give us a brand new campaign that was Titanfall-esque. That was Apex Legends with a Titanfall-feeling game. And so Titanfall Legends was always supposed to slot in as part of that. It was supposed to be an addition to Apex Legends. It's kind of like how Riot Games is making various types of games using the League of Legends IP and characters. Or as Jeff Grubb describes it, Titanfall Legends would be a single-player campaign inside of this platform that is Apex Legends / Titanfall, this universe that they share. In the same way Call of Duty works, where you get Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone is right there as well. That's also a very apt comparison. And as far as the kind of design that they were going for with this new campaign, it was supposed to encourage people to use special abilities such as wall running and not play it like Call of Duty. Jeff Grubb further adds that the campaign would have included characters from Apex Legends and also BT, the Titan companion featured in Titanfall 2 story. So you'd have Apex Legends characters with their powers combined with the Titanfall mech. Specifically, you'd play as Apex Legends character Blisk and navigate the world and upgrade BT as you progress through the campaign. Sounds like a really cool concept, honestly, and I don't know what came over EA to cancel a project like this, unless it was going through development hell or something like that, but I don't know, it's Respawn Entertainment. They tend to be pretty good at what they do. Here are some more direct quotes from Jeff Grubb about this game. They were going to have the legends show up and give you special powers throughout the game so it could tie to Apex Legends in a really strong way. The thinking there was that more people have played Apex Legends than have ever heard of Titanfall, so they were really going to lean into that. So while the core of the game is very Titanfall-esque, the branding was going to lean on the more popular Apex Legends. That way there's less of a risk that this new Titanfall-esque game will flop as Titanfall 2 did. They'll remind you that the reason Titanfall 2 flopped was because EA put the game out in the worst time possible, sandwiched right between a brand new Battlefield and a brand new Call of Duty entry. Titanfall being the lesser known IP, of course, it was going to be overtaken by the other two if they had released that game in a more opportune time period and with better marketing. It would have done incredibly well. I still think Titanfall as an IP, without the Apex Legends branding, has the potential to become really big, but if this is the compromise they had to make to brand it more in the Apex Legends side of things while retaining the core of Titanfall gameplay, I would have been all in on that compromise. Jeff Grubb continues, they wanted to make the game more active, where you use your abilities more often. The strapline I heard was, we want to make John Wick meets Tony Hawk. They were also super inspired by Doom Eternal, where you're always aggressive and always getting stuff. In Titanfall Legends, you would discover that Rampart, one of the characters from Apex Legends, has discovered the chassis of BT, brought BT back to life, and BT is this really special Titan now and interacted with something called the Lost Ark, which was the one thing in the universe that could track down all these parts, and whoever gets them then becomes super powerful. So that's kind of the basic premise and how Apex Legends characters came to meet BT, the Titan. It sounds like a really cool way to have these two IPs from the same universe finally collide. This one really hurts that this one got canceled. One last thing to note from the article is that Video Games Chronicle also seems to be interpreting the story as the game's cancellation happening internally by EA on Wednesday, aka yesterday, February 1st, 2022. Jason Schreier got on the story pretty fast. It was on the same day that this single-player Apex Legends / Titanfall game was canceled that he reported on it, and you can see right here scrolling through the responses of this tweet that plenty of people are in mourning, that plenty of people have had their dreams crushed, their hopes just utterly destroyed because it's been such a long-awaited and highly desired game, and to find out that it was possible that we were this close to getting it before EA canceled it, that's why you got people posting memes like this and all of them pretty upset and pretty dejected by what could have been and what ultimately wasn't. Does that mean that there's no possibility whatsoever that one day we'll see a single-player Titanfall game or Titanfall-esque experience? No, but it probably does mean we'll have to wait a few years, whereas while this project was in development, we might have only needed to wait, I don't know, a year or two, just nowhere near as long as we have to wait now. So yeah, I guess to make a long story short, god damn it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you need to know about the current state of the Titanfall community. Pretty disillusioned, and what you need to know about this canceled Apex Legends Titanfall crossover single-player project. That sounded pretty freaking sick. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this, and what you think the future holds for the Titanfall IP. Do you think there is hope, or has all this made you lose hope that we'll one day get a Titanfall experience? Share your thoughts below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.